Hi there, I am Cari Palmer, and I'm doing my first video for Mount Shasta. Surprise for me, anyway. I never know what I'm going to do until I'm told, go do it. What this video is about is hopefully quick and to the point. My book is almost done. I'm going to have it to the publisher, I believe, by Thanksgiving. All I've been doing is sitting, getting through it, numbering the chapters, making sure the title, everything is good. I've got 4 books in the series called Only Beautiful Things Happen to Me. Why that title? Because only beautiful things happen to me. Why is that? Because I stopped trying to do human. I stopped trying to make things happen. I stopped planning. I stopped thinking. That was the number one thing. I stopped using this. 7 years ago, this journey started for me. And Eckhart Tolle said, be present. So I did. I became present. When you're present, your mind is not in thought. When you're not in thought, you're not thinking, you're not worrying. You are right here, right now. And that is the only place I've lived for the last 7 years. And believe me, knowing who I was before, I can't believe it. My own existence is so far beyond my reality that I can't comprehend my life. And that's why I'm writing a book about it. What the book shares is how I started as a normal operating human with a really shitty backstory. You know, we have to come from somewhere, but that backstory was exactly what I created so I could get to where I am. My life was absolute hell. I went through hell compartment after hell compartment after hell compartment after hell compartment. But what I did, and now that I get to look back and reflect and write about it and tell you how I did it so you can do it so you don't need to be stuck, is every single one of these little compartments that we get into, they are a story that we signed up to get into. With all of the players in that story, we get into the arena and we go for it. The difference with me and everyone else in the arena that I've been with is I get in the story, I go through the experience, I live the hell, I see that it feels really icky, and I know it's time to move on, and so I go. And no one else has followed me. There have been a few, and now that my journey has become a spiritual journey 7 years ago, the people that I've met, they're all on a spiritual quest. We're all here trying to find the Holy Grail. What is it that we're here to find? And I can tell you right now, people are going to say, bull crap, call me out on it, but go for it. Call me whatever you want. I have made it to that place that we're looking for, that place where you grab the brass ring, where you ring the bell, where you're on the top of the mountain, you put the flag. I made it to that place we're going here on this planet. I got there all by myself. And the only way I got there is because I stopped listening to you, to anybody outside of myself. The only way to get to peace, to get to heaven on earth, to live a life of absolute bliss, is you've got to shut everybody else out. You've got to turn off the news. Boy, does that ever get you guys riled up. Boy, do you get involved in stories. What I did is I was in a story, I lived through it, and then I stepped out of it. When you're out of a story, you get to lift up the lid, look back on it, and think, holy cow, did I do that? What an imbecile I was. What an idiot. Boy, was I pathetic. I stepped into stories and then I came out the other side. The most recently, I was married in a relationship for 28 years, had a child, lived in Washington, human, radio career, busy lady, living this busy life. My life was off. It felt off. So I kept saying, what, until I found this journey. Once I found this journey, which if you're looking at this video about spirituality, you're on the path. You're further ahead than I ever have been. I didn't know it until 7 years ago that this existed. If you're on this journey, listen to your higher self is the only thing I have to say. And my book will outline exactly what I did. I went into a situation and I got into it. I met the people and I evolved. I kept evolving. I kept evolving. I have evolved away from every human being I have been with in my life because I kept saying yes to feeling good because my life felt shitty. For 35 years, I was a card carrying victim. Woe is me. I was pathetic. I hated you. I was jealous of you. I was suicidal. I blamed my mother for everything that ever went wrong in my life until I found this journey. And with this journey, it just has you shut up, stop. You don't look at this. You don't watch TV. You don't listen to Larry and Herman talk about what's going on in the world. You go inside, and I don't meditate. I don't sit in Om. I just am silent, and I don't talk to people. I don't let other people influence what I know. You already know inside yourself where you see yourself, what you'd love to be doing. You have this beautiful vision of what you see yourself doing. But there are all these people and players that are in the way that are telling you all the reasons why that can't happen for you or why you shouldn't do that, because they are controlling you, and you're saying, okay, you have my life, take it. That's where I was different. My life sucked, so I followed my path. The more I shut everything else out, the more everything became clear. You have to be alone. You have to get away from humans. You cannot be around the influence of other people who have opinions and ideas and expand. You can't. The reason my growth worked is I left my husband, I left my daughter, I left my life. I went to be alone, and I went to be silent, and I stared at the ocean, and I met God. God didn't exist in my world because I never went to church. My mother married 5 men. We had no exposure to religion whatsoever. So I didn't have any preconceived notions about what should be or what shouldn't be. I was open. I was like, what is? Show me. And I've been shown everything. I've met so many people on this journey that I've walked alongside, and they were growing, but you all have a line in the sand. You all have that person that you don't want to hurt. You have that thing that you really want to do. You have those plans that you really want to make. All of that is just spinning your wheels and wasting your time. When you shut everything else off and you don't listen to anybody else, you hear nothing. When you turn this off, you don't hear sounds, you don't hear voices. There's no to-do list. You're silent. When something comes up, you know immediately that's your move, because you don't think. You're never thinking. So when something comes, that is your only next step. When you take that next step, you see why you took it, because it opens up the beauty and the promise of that next thing you need to do. But we don't shut up as humans enough to listen to that one next step. If we did, we'd all be where I am. But you don't. You're busy telling each other how to live your lives, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should wear, what you shouldn't wear, how you should be, what normal is. There is no normal. We all came here naked little babies. We all popped out of the womb, and not one of us had the rules or the instructions. But there's all these people that you're all following on TV that are saying, I have the instructions, I have the rules. And so you're saying, okay, I'll follow you. None of them. The only way to get here is to get rid of all of that. You have to walk away from people, and you have to shut. You have to shut up. I have a hashtag I'm really trying to push, STFU, hashtag shut the fuck up, because if you don't, you don't. When you shut up, you hear. I've created so many charts that I've been told to create over this last year. One of them is about your path, which is all the planning you do, the 401k, the retirement, the vacation, all this stuff. And all this stuff always falls apart. Isn't it amazing how stuff falls apart? Because you think you plan it, you think it's supposed to happen, then it doesn't. You're like, why isn't it happening? So this chart I created was these switchbacks, like you're doing this, you have this thing you think you want to do. While you're all doing that, I'm doing this. One. I'm going straight up while you're all doing this, because I'm not making any plans. I am right here, right now, being Om. No, I'm not meditating. I'm just silent. And then I know. And then I know. The more I've done this, I've become a master at it. First, I called it guidance. I received guidance, and then I would act. When you live in this spirit for a while, you're not following guidance anymore. The human part of you doesn't exist anymore. You don't have those emotions. You're not flappable at all, because you're just in heaven. When you get here to this enlightened state, you don't have negative emotion. You can't. You know none of this is real. You know this is an earth game. It's a virtual digital matrix. It's a creation of our own reality. It's something I brought. This mass, all of the mass around me doesn't exist. It's our creation as spirit. We come here as spirit to enter into these skin bags, to experience feelings of hurt and hurting people. And just because on the other side, it's just love. And when you get to the enlightened state, that's where you go. You're still in your skin bag, but all you can feel for others is love. For everybody, for animals, for everything, it's just love, because you know we're all here to experience all these stories that we're stuck in. We're here to learn lessons. But then we're supposed to step out of our stories. And the difference between me and y'all, I stepped out of every story. The last story I had was the one with my ex, my daughter, my family life. Leaving was the hardest thing I had to do. I had to leave a life of comfort, financial security. Oh, all this stuff. I really didn't even realize how secure I was. I had to step away from all the comforts that humans want: a loving partner, money, a big, beautiful home with a river and a bridge in the city. All of that stuff is just crap. It's just stuff. None of this is real. The more you walk away from those things that you think you need, it's like, I need this stuff. But inside of you, you're being told something, a completely different story. And you and I know you have your story, but you're not sharing it with people around you because they would laugh at you, they would ridicule you. And so you stay stuck in a story with them because you're afraid to go out on your own. You came here to go out on your own. You came here to shut the fuck up. You came here to shut the fuck up and get out and figure your story out. The more relationships you're enmeshed in, the more places you're plugged in, the harder it is to do this, because that's all the people are going to tell you why you can't. But I'm here to tell you, you have to, because I am now living in my dream home, in my dream city that I didn't know I would ever be here. I had no idea this was going to be my destiny. But now I know why it is. I'm in complete isolation here, and I get to be alone and just experience my relationship with God. You're never lonely when you connect to God, because you are one with all that is. For all of those people who I once connected to and we were on our spiritual journey together and I have moved on, it's because I don't park my spirit. I was down here most of my life. I was suicidal. I was depressed. I just wanted death. Death was the only answer, but I kept hearing, we got plans for you, girl. And boy, were there plans. And now I live right there. You can't go down. When you get here, when you don't deal with these negative emotions or feelings, as a human being, it's impossible to slip back down into sadness of any way. You can't. So if you want to continue living a life where you let others point you in the direction they think you need to go because they know better, how can they know better? How can anyone know better for you than you? You came here with a purpose. You came here with a plan. And all of these people came here to stop you from your plan. And how many of them are being successful? I did not park my spirit. I trudged beyond every single human being that I was on this path with. I love all of these people, but they know what I know. That's what's amazing. They know what I know. We are spirit occupying a body. None of this is real. It's a play date on earth. But then they're going about it strong, spiritual, until a human story kicks in. And they feel they need to dive into the story. That's where, I'm sorry, people, you park your spirit. You dive into somebody else's story. You create a story for yourself. You'll never get here. Let the stories go. Be alone. Be alone in nature. You want to find what it's like to live in heaven on earth? You can do it. You have the power in your ruby slippers, but you got to stop letting everybody else drive your bus. All right, that's it. I'm going to cut it out. I can't wait to get that book to the publisher. The moment I hit send, whoa! Then I'll start the second book. It's already written. I can't wait to get it out. Namaste.